Whilst we're so happy to have made some money this past year on YouTube, it does not even begin to cover the costs we've put in. We've spent so much time trying to get good at this, and if we were only making videos to make money, this would not be the right way forward. Are you curious about how much small YouTubers make? Are you thinking of starting your own channel and want to have a realistic view of how much you can earn? Or are you just curious as to how much YouTube has paid us on our first year monetized? Then this is the video for you. Let's get into it. For you to be able to learn anything from these numbers and figures, the most important thing is understanding them within a context. You should know that we are an alternative lifestyle channel. We're based in Spain, and our content primarily revolves around us living in an off-grid stone cabin in the mountains. We try to post a video every single week. Our videos normally are between 25 and 40 minutes, and we try to make quite cozy, relatable, chatty, vloggy style content. We started our channel in February of 2023 and got monetized on the 16th of April later that year. We were able to get monetized relatively quickly, and that's because we posted a series of videos relating to our travels through Algeria that really hit it off. Made our first €1.32. So in this past year monetized, we have gotten 535,000 views, 69.5 thousand watch hours, and an estimated revenue of €1,645. We have also gained what I would count as the totality of our subscribers. Here it says 8.5, and right now we are at 8.5k subscribers. If we look at the overall graph, most of that money has been made from January 2024 onwards. In fact, January of this year was our best performing year, and we haven't even gotten close to matching it since then. Looking at the graph, you can tell that for many months, even though we were monetized, we were making 30 cents a day, 28 cents a day, 16 cents a day, 6 cents a day. That's an all-time low. On July 17th of 2023, we made 7 cents. And slowly it started going up to 70 cents a day, €1 something, depending. It would still fluctuate a lot. Basically, the money we made practically insignificant until the end of December 2020. At the end of December 2023, we started making amounts more close to €4 a day, €5 a day. Again, 3 something, 5.57. In January, one of our older videos that we had posted in August of 2023 started picking up, and our subscribers started growing really quickly, and therefore our income also skyrocketed. The day we've made the most so far has been January 24th, 2024, and we made €60.36. When this was happening, we got really excited and thought, oh my God, from now on we might be making this type of money and perhaps we can live off YouTube. But no. You know, YouTube is not a linear journey. Things go up and down. It's very difficult to predict what's gonna happen. And since then, our income has significantly reduced. If we look at the monthly breakdown, our first month monetized, so April 2023, which was only half the month, we made a total of €32.83. Then May, we made €15.62, and our income just went down from there. In June, we made €5.49, in July, €7.14, in August, €18, in September, €10.91, in October, €15.83, in November, €47.94, in December, we made €68.30, and then there's a huge spike, and in January of 2024, this year, we made €619.65. If we would have been able to keep this up, it would have been wonderful. But then things changed again, and in February we made €441, March we made €163.49, and April we made €198.82. Basically, our best earning months have been the past 4 months and not any of the 8 months of 2023. In case you're interested, the breakdown of our revenue source is fairly straightforward. Out of the €1,600 we've made, 1,500 of them come from watch paid ads. Those are the ad breaks that you get in between the videos. And then €138 come from YouTube Premium memberships. So that's any of you that watch our videos that have a YouTube subscription. We also get a little bit of money from that. One thing I think is really interesting to look at is our top content over this past year in comparison to our highest earning content, because it does not match up. So if we look at our top content, our most watched video ever, our first video of Welcome to Algeria, the series, it was a 3-part series, and that video has 82,744 views, which is crazy if you think about it. Then our second most watched video is A Homestead in Spain, Getting Started Part 1. This is the video that started picking up in January of this year, and that got us a lot more subscribers and a lot more income. And this video has 76,453 views. Then our third most watched video is another Algeria video, the second one, which has 47,000 views. Our fourth most watched video is our tour of this home when we moved in, and that has 26,000 views. And then the fifth most watched video is the third one of Algeria, which has 25,000 views. If we compare that list to the videos that have made us most income, however, they don't completely align. Here you can see that the video that has made us most money by far is our first video of A Homestead in Spain, Getting Started, Part 1. Again, this is the video that picked up in January, and this video has made us 289 euros. The second part to the Getting Started video, A Homestead in Spain, that has made us 136 euros. Then the third video that has made us most income wasn't even in the top 5 of most watched, and that is Preparing for Winter in an Off-Grid Cabin in the Mountains, that made us 122 euros. Then there's the tour, which made us 92 euros. And then there is More Winter Prep in an Off-Grid Cabin in the Mountains, which made us 70 euros. Here you can also see how much the RPMs actually vary between videos. So the highest RPM we've ever had is 651 euros, and that we had for a video that was about spring cleaning, and also for our getting everything we need to start the renovations. And our lowest RPM is actually for our most popular video, which was the Welcome to Algeria Part 1, which has a whopping 50 cents of RPM. If you look at the graph, we clearly had flat revenue or almost flat revenue for a very long time, then a big spike in January, and then it started to go down. And that is consistent with the views. We had a ton of views in January because one of our older videos started kicking off, as I said. That trickled into viewers for other videos we were posting at the time, but then our overall views have gone down since then, and therefore our revenue has gone down as well. It's only the last 3 months that I feel like we have a more steady viewership and also a more realistic idea of what income we can expect, which is around 150 to 190 euros per month, at least at this point in time. I hope we continue growing, but for now, that's what we can expect roughly. I think this is important to note because once you get monetized, there can be the unrealistic expectation of thinking that from then on, things are just going to continuously grow upwards, but that is not our experience at all. So what do these numbers tell us? Again, let's remember our little recap. We've had 535,000 views in 1 year, 69,000 watch hours, and we've made 1,645 euros. These numbers are only interesting or useful for you if you're trying to also start a YouTube channel, if you look at them in a context. Someone with exactly the same number of views and exactly the same watch time can have a much higher income than we do, or also a lower income. And there's multiple factors that can affect this. Your niche can really affect your income, and that's because of multiple things. First, if you have a very clear niche with a very clear audience, YouTube is more likely to promote your videos to the right people. The problem with our niche, the lifestyle niche, is that it can be pretty broad, and there's all sorts of lifestyles, and there's all sorts of people that can be interested in watching lifestyle videos. Therefore, the algorithm of YouTube is much more likely to have a difficult time understanding who to show your videos to. If you think about it, there's thousands of vloggers out there showing their day-to-day lives, and you are only going to be interested in a tiny minority of them. And many times it doesn't even have to do with the content they're presenting, it has to do with the personality, if you gel with that person, if you find them funny, inspiring, motivating, whatever it is. What you find interesting and unique of a person's life can be so personal to you that is highly unlikely that the algorithm is gonna get it right every time. We now know that creating this type of content makes it much harder for it to be shown to a wide audience of people that will click with us. And if we were only making videos to make money, this would not be the right way forward. However, that's not the reason we make videos. I truly want to make videos I love watching, and I have zero interest in making videos on investing or on how to start a YouTube channel. And therefore, I have to accept that that will come with a harder growth process on here. You have to find examples of people in your niche to get a realistic idea of what you could earn if you started a channel. There's a lot of channels out there about how to grow on YouTube that only make how to grow on YouTube videos. And I don't know if their lessons are honestly as relevant if you're not doing that type of content. Apart from the YouTube algorithm and finding your audience difficulties that come with your niche, it can also really affect your RPM. For example, financial channels are notorious for having very, very high RPMs. But this is also the case with techie channels, and a lot of educational content tends to have higher RPMs. For us being a lifestyle channel, we have an overall RPM of €3.14. So that means we get €3.14 for every 1,000 views. That is, of course, an average for all our videos. But I've seen videos like this where the RPM is way, way higher than this. RPM is completely out of the hands of the creator, and again, it's not always very clear how it's determined. If you look at our series of A Homestead in Spain Getting Started, which is a two-part series, the first video has 76,000 views, but because of its RPM of 379 has made only €289. It's our biggest earner, but still, for the number of views, relatively, it's not a very high income. But if you look at the second part of that video, which is practically the same content, it's a continuation, it's the same style, the same music, the same vibes, it doesn't change much at all. That video has way less views, only 21,495, but has earned us €136, which proportionately is quite a lot more. And that's because if you look at the RPM, it's almost double. Diving deeper into our videos and trying to learn something from the RPMs honestly has led me nowhere, so I cannot really get any big lessons to share with you here, unfortunately. Apart from your niche, another thing that can really affect your income is where your channel is based and also where your viewers are based. That is huge. And that is because advertisers are obviously looking for clients, and viewers from certain countries are seen as more interesting clients than others. You can have a wildly successful channel with tons of subscribers and tons of viewers and not earn much money at all from YouTube. With us, you can clearly see that with the Algeria videos. The 3 videos we made on Algeria are the most popular, they have the most views, but they haven't earned us much at all. To exemplify this, let's look at our video Welcome to Algeria, Volume 1, Algiers. This is by far the most watched video on our channel. It has 82,744 views, but it has only made us €41. And that is because of its really, really low RPM. We know that the audience of the Algeria videos is primarily from Algeria, and that can explain why the RPM is so low for the whole series. So the first video has an RPM of 50 cents, the second video has an RPM of 87 cents and has made us €40 with 47,000 views, and the third video, which has 25,000 views, has made us €20 with an RPM of 83 cents. I think many times in the YouTube space, we equate numbers and views to income, and this really shows you that actually it really depends where your viewers are from. Something that really stands out to me is that you can never really know what your most popular videos will be and also what your highest earning videos will be. I personally find the 2 videos that have made us the most money by far quite boring in comparison to the rest of our channel. Looking back, I find them pretty slow, and I don't really understand why they're so popular. I'm convinced that now we make much better videos, but somehow they don't even come close to the level of popularity of our most watched videos. I've also learned that views are not everything. We have videos with way less views, but that because of their higher RPMs have earned us much more in comparison. And another thing that is very clear to me now is that you never know what is going to happen. The videos that have earned us the most were not popular when they first came out. They only took off a few months later, so you never know. Maybe the videos that we're posting now that I really like but are not getting the views suddenly will become very popular in the future. Honestly, YouTube is a bit of a mystery. It's really helpful to see this kind of videos if you're trying to get a realistic expectation of what you can do with your own YouTube channel, with your own YouTube dreams. But the reality is that you cannot really predict anything. The journey to becoming a YouTuber and making an income of this is just not linear whatsoever. But what is clear is that it's not a get-rich scheme, at least for most of us. If you've ever wondered why YouTubers feel the need to take sponsorships or to find other ways of income, this is why. For most channels, unless you're really big, making an income just from what YouTube pays you is not enough. And therefore, finding alternative incomes or supplementary incomes is crucial to make it a full-time job. This is not to say it cannot be lucrative. There's of course a lot of people making a lot of money on social media and in YouTube specifically. But it takes time to establish yourself and to make enough to feel comfortable doing this full-time. Now I want to talk about the income we've made in relation to the investment we've made, because I think a lot of people don't talk about this, but it is something to take into account. I've heard so many people talk about how starting a YouTube channel is completely free and that anyone can do it and that everyone should do it, because what do you have to lose? The only thing you can do is grow, get better, and eventually perhaps make a lot of money. But that is not our experience. Although technically you could start a channel without making a huge investment in materials, I do think it always requires an investment. First, there is the investment of time. And let me tell you, it's a huge investment. If you don't know how to record videos, if you don't know how to manage a camera, if you don't know how to talk to a camera, if you don't know how to do good storytelling, if you don't know how to edit videos, you're gonna have to learn everything from scratch. And it's possible. Anyone can do it. There's a lot of tutorials online, there's free resources, and also if you just keep trying, you will eventually figure it out. But that whole process of learning involves a huge time commitment. We've spent so much time trying to get good at this. And then even when you're familiar with filming and editing, like we are now, I think we've gotten much better and we've learned a lot, it's still a huge time commitment to actually record the videos and edit them. This of course depends on what style of videos you make. I think certain type of channels can afford to dedicate much less time than we can, for example, but the time commitment is there regardless, whether it be 5 hours a week or 3 days or 4 days or 5 days. I'd say for us, it's basically a full-time job, even though it doesn't pay like a full-time job. And that is definitely a cost. Then there is the materials you need to create videos. And yes, again, you can just use your phone and not buy much additional materials to start making videos. But that is with the presumption that you have a good phone that records really well. I, for example, have the iPhone 12 or 13, and I do record a lot of B-roll on it. But I bought this phone when my previous one broke because I knew I wanted to create content and I needed a good camera. That's why I chose to spend 798 euros on a second-hand iPhone. If I didn't create content at all, I wouldn't have spent so much on a phone just to make calls personally. And if you do want to create high-quality content, it's inevitable that you will start adding gear. Our primary camera is a Sony CV1, the one I'm using right now. This camera is by no means a high-end, advanced camera. In fact, we would love to have much better gear, but it was the most affordable camera we could get to make what I think is decent content. The first time I bought this camera, which was quite a few years ago, I bought it secondhand for 661 euros. However, I say first time because our first camera had an accident and it broke and we had to buy a second one. That second camera, which is the one I'm using right now, we also bought secondhand and it cost us 582 euros. We've also bought a ton of other complementary gear that was necessary, like batteries, the mics so that you can have good sound quality, the chargers, an external light for whenever we are inside the house and it's too dark, memory cards, hard disks. All that extra little gear adds up a lot. I haven't been able to make a comprehensive overview because I would have to go back years, but just looking at the past couple of years, we've spent 2,575 euros on gear alone. Then there is the cost of all those services that make making videos much easier. We, for example, pay a yearly fee for Artlist, which is a platform where we can download all the copyright-free music that we use in our videos. We also pay for Adobe Photoshop to be able to edit our photos and our thumbnails on Lightroom and Photoshop, and that costs us 144 euros a year. We pay for our website and our domain name, and that costs us around 200 euros a year. We also had to make a one-off DaVinci payment, which is our editing software, so that we could get the more advanced features, and that was 344 euros. And we also decided to sign up to Creator Now, which is a platform for creators where you can do courses, create community, etc. And that cost us 320 euros for the time for a 2-year membership. All that adds up to 974 euros a year, or around 80 euros a month, just on memberships to make our videos better. Now, I know you could argue that none of this is really necessary, and we have gotten comments in the past, like one person said, "Oh, why do you have a subscription to the music? I don't even like music in your videos." And you know, that's fine, but we want to make videos we like, and for us all these tools are necessary to make the quality of videos we do. This is all to show you that it is great to look at the possibilities of income on YouTube, but it is also important to take into account the possibilities of cost, because there are costs associated to creating good quality videos. That's just the reality, at least for us. Whilst we're so happy to have made some money this past year on YouTube, it does not even begin to cover the costs we've put in. And this is not even taking into account that this income is before taxes. In fact, I say that we've made 1,645 euros, but the reality is that we've chosen not to make any money at all from YouTube, at least for now. And that is because in Spain, if you're a YouTuber, you have to sign up to be a freelancer. And the monthly costs associated to being a freelancer in Spain would really put us in the red numbers. This changes depending on where you're from, but in Spain, if you sign up to be a freelancer, you have to pay every month for your social security independently of how much you're making. The base fee is around 290 euros, which can go up depending on your income. And then there's also, of course, all the accountancy costs, the taxes, the VAT, etc. Because of that, we've decided we don't want to make any money at all until it at least covers the cost of being a freelancer here. And since we cannot reach that number yet, we'd rather not get paid. And another little tangent here, this is also the reason why we haven't set up a Buy Us a Coffee or a Patreon account. We've gotten some lovely messages from some of you guys, some of our viewers that really like our content and want to contribute to it. And honestly, we're so honored. At first, the reason for us not setting up this type of contribution systems was because we didn't feel like we were adding enough value to justify it. But now also, we've looked into it and we've realized we cannot really afford to be freelancers and to be receiving any money from YouTube or from subscribers until we don't see this as a viable, sustainable future for us. Okay, so what do we hope to achieve by sharing all this information with you? For those of you who are dreaming of starting a YouTube channel or who have taken the leap and want to know what you can expect, I hope that seeing our journey, our numbers, and the lessons we have learned can help you gain more realistic expectations of what being a small YouTuber is really like when it comes to income. Our experience, of course, doesn't have to be your experience, but I do think it's handy to have as many examples to learn from as possible. If on the other hand, you have no interest in ever starting a channel of your own and you've just watched this because you're curious as to what YouTubers can earn, small YouTubers, or specifically what we earn, I hope this gives you a more broad understanding of what content creation can entail. I know that at least for me, it has only been by learning from other people that share their numbers openly, and also from my own experience, I've become more empathetic to how different content creators have to find ways to make an income. Whatever the reason is for you to watch this video, I hope you have found it really interesting to have a more clear understanding of how much YouTube has paid us for our first year monetized, and also that you found the cost perspective insightful. I do want to make it super clear that by pointing out that we don't for now make enough money on YouTube to sustain making YouTube videos, I am in no way complaining. We are so excited to be on this journey. We are so happy to know that income is even a possibility. And this past month have really given us the hope to continue going forward and to continue trying. For us, YouTube is sort of an investment in the life we hope to someday lead. We are right now doing this full-time without any alternative income, which means we are living off our savings. And I know that to most people that makes absolutely no sense. And I wouldn't recommend this, just FYI, I wouldn't recommend it. But we personally were in a situation where we could try to do this full-time for a bit and see how it worked out. And we decided that we wanted to make that investment in the possibility of creating our ideal life. We love the idea of being able to share what we're going through with you guys. We love the idea of being able to film our life and through that provide escapism, inspiration, fun, whatever it is, to others. And we are personally super attracted to the possibility that YouTube gives you of one day perhaps being able to live of it. We love that it feels like we finally are starting to really build our little community on here. We love being able to connect with you guys. We love being able to spend our days trying to capture the beauty around us, the things we experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, but that we are able to share this with people from all over the world. And we hope to continue learning, growing, making videos, and perhaps one day even maybe live of this. Who knows? We made a very conscious choice to give our everything to YouTube, to try and make it work to the best of our abilities. And so far we're loving it. So I think it's a success. That is all to say, yes, YouTube is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but man, is it a fun job, and we feel so lucky to get to try it. If you have any experience with content creation, trying to live of it, any lessons learned that you have come across that you think would be handy, make sure to leave them in the comments. You can also, of course, leave any questions that you might have regarding making money off YouTube, and we would be more than happy to answer them. And as always, I want to thank you so much for watching our videos, for supporting us. You are the reason this is a possibility for us. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, and see you next week.